Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Beyond Fulfillment podcast. I'm your host, Dave Goulas of Easy DC 3PL. And this week, my guest is the president and co-founder of Ebots, Inc., Virind Gurjal. Welcome, Virind.
Thank you very much, David. Nice to have me on the podcast. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate you joining us from the beach. It looks lovely where you're at. So you and I have met at a couple different Terrapin events, actually, in the Startup Founder Zone. And that's where I met you and learned about your company. If you could, for everyone, can you just tell us what Ebots, Inc. is and how it came to be?
Sure. Ebots, Inc. is building robots primarily for fleets and medium duty trucks, whereby the robots will charge electric vehicles without any human intervention. It will charge autonomously. That means the robot will pick up the battery and take the battery to the vehicle, connect the battery to the vehicle, drop it there, let the battery charge the vehicle, and then once it's over, the robot will come and pick it up and take it to the docking station, where the battery will charge itself again, and whenever there is another need for charging of another vehicle, the robot will take it there. In simple terms, we are bringing charging from instead of the vehicle going to the charging station, we are bringing the charging to the vehicle.
Okay. And how did you come up with this idea?
This is interesting. It's a combination of factors. Would love to talk about it. First of all, I was working in one of the largest truck leasing companies, managing $1 billion worth of diesel fuel, the buying, procurement, distribution, and everything. And that organization, great organization, had 250,000 trucks and tractors that it leased out to its customers. So I have been around trucks and charging, fueling infrastructure. And between that period of time, interestingly, our son was doing robotics, and I was very much deeply involved. Of course, I'm a mechanical engineer also, so I have the penchant for working with the mechanical parts, not with my own hands, but to see how technology works. So during that time, I told our son, hey, Mir, can you build me a robot to put gasoline in my Lexus? And, I was joking, and he just did it. That was just brilliant. And he was in 10th grade, 9th or 10th grade. So that idea was stuck in my mind. And once I left, I moved from the fuel industry I wanted to move to the technology industry. I joined an autonomous trucking company. And then, of course, I got involved into autonomous and everything else. And there was a time when I was looking at the EV infrastructure that was required for the new wave of electric cars and trucks that were coming. I said that, hey, there's no infrastructure. How can the value be there? Can there be something I can provide to solve that problem technologically? And guess what? The robotics experience that I had with my son, and of course, the operational experience of fuel. I was buying and selling $1 billion worth of fuel. And so I had done a lot of projects. So I started thinking about it. My thing was on the business side. So I got a co-founder who is a robotics engineer, and we put our heads together and started looking at, hey, should we develop a product or a company? And that's how Ebots Inc. came into picture.
Wow. So just a chance project that your son did was kind of the spark, and then everything came together. Okay. So where is the company right now in terms of the stage of the company?
That we are very excited. We formally started the company in March of 2023 and incorporated in 2020, April 2023. And in this process, in this time frame, we have now filed for patent only as of yesterday, I would say. Also, we have developed a prototype which is being tested. It will need other things, but a basic prototype has been developed, and we are about to start to test in-house that prototype. And once that is one thing, and then in this process, we have developed partnerships. I've raised some funds. I have acquired customers, a huge customer interest. I have letter of support from companies like Great Dane, who are manufacturers of um, electric trucks and trailers, um, reefer trailers. So we have accomplished a lot on customer acquisition, product development, and fundraising. But now I am in a process of raising more funds, and I'm presenting it to. I've been selected by Angel Venture Fund to present on December 8th to VCs and angel investors, which I'm doing so on December 8th. I've been invited to be at Tennessee Smart Mobility Expo. I'm going there on December 5th. I'll be going to CES in Vegas to talk about a product and look at opportunity to present, if possible, to investors. So fundraising is right now important for us to continue to develop a prototype and then commercialize it.
So now, how's the fundraising process been for you, coming from like long corporate career, done a lot of stuff, a diverse background, and now you're pitching investors on this idea. It's a great idea and certainly a need for it. But again, right, you're a startup company with just testing the prototype. What's that experience been like?
Just awesome. I've done a lot of things in life. I have diverse background. I'm a mechanical engineer with 2 MBAs. I've worked in different types of industries. I've patented my name for B2B e-auction. So I have done different kinds of things. This entrepreneurship was only thing that I had not done. And so I like new things. And this has been a good experience and challenge and worth taking the challenge. So what first portion was selling to the idea, conceiving the idea, testing it, and some of the first fundraising I did was with my friends and family. And I got started on that. That's the reason we could develop this prototype. Now we have, as I go out in the market, I was at ACT conference this beginning of the year. I was a speaker and a presenter, and had a booth at Home Delivery Worlds with you. We met again at the booth and movement in Texas, move in Texas. So going there, meeting people, that's where I not only get to talk to potential customers, but a lot of VCs and angels have also started talking to me. I have had very good interactions with VCs, and there is a lot of interest from Infratech VC in New York to the VCs that can potentially. They say that when your first dollar is in, talk to us first. The thing is that VCs want first revenue dollars. And for me to come to that point, I have to cross a little bit of bridge for angel funding round. So that's what I'm working on. It has been a journey, but in this journey, not only we are building a new product, new thing, and then making new friends, meeting new people, meeting new challenges, learning new things. So it has been a pleasant journey, and hoping for good things in this next 2 months, where I'm meeting and talking to a lot of people and presenting ideas and pitches to various organizations and various conferences. So excited about it.
Yeah, it's so important too, because the people you meet at these shows, the other entrepreneurs, you never know what one conversation, what relationship, who that can lead you to, or what that can lead to. So yeah, so important to get out there and make those connections.
And
Um,
that's how we met. You knew that I was going around and talking to everybody in the booth there, irrespective of anybody. That's how we met. And yes, I enjoy meeting people. And in the process, what happens is, David, not only that people, you get to meet people, share ideas, but at the same time, sometimes they help you, and same way I help others to connect with other situations, other people, as much as I can. So mutually help each other if possible, but without expectation. I meet people and enjoy it.
Sure, absolutely. And you mentioned Move America, and I was really blown away, because I'm not really, I'm not that up on the electric vehicle industry, and I saw a lot of new technology and how big everything was. But I talked to everyone I could there, but the common theme that a lot of the experts told me is the biggest bottleneck to moving this, because everyone's talking about adoption and how quick everything is going to progress. They said the biggest challenge is the charging infrastructure, because that hasn't really caught up to the technology of the batteries. I mean, is that what you're finding as well, as you're deep in this industry?
Well, I'll take a step back and give you the numbers. That point, the way we are moving ahead in EV adoption, by 2030, there'll be 26.4 million electric vehicles on the road. But the beauty is, they will be only 10%, still only the 10% of the ICE vehicles. Okay. Now, for that, we need the charging infrastructure. Globally, it is about $113 billion worth of charging infrastructure. But in US itself, will be about $19 billion worth of charging that will be needed by that time. And so that is such a huge demand. Now, the problem is, as you mentioned, the infrastructure is lagging. It is coming up. It is coming up slowly. But it cannot. It has been a chicken and egg story, whether charging infrastructure should come first or the electric vehicle should come first. If charging stations are set up and there are no electric vehicles, there won't be charging. So that has been a little bit of challenge. Now that there are government regulations and there have been a lot of incentives for people to pick the charging stations. And thanks to Tesla, I would say, they opened up the market. They said, we are doing it. And people had to got the chargers at home. So that was a big push towards electric vehicles, electric cars. But at the same time, that started the electrification of America. But the problem is, it takes time to develop the infrastructure. Our gasoline and diesel infrastructure took 100 years to develop. Now, here, talking about charging infrastructure, it's not just dig in a hole in the ground and store some gasoline and dispense it. It is related to, it comes from the grid, from power stations to grids to particular substation, and then to a particular place. Now, everybody wants all the power and charging near their home. And these electric power companies, they are not ready. They requires a lot of investments. So they are being selective where to put the investment, the electric power companies, where to put the investments to put the charging stations that benefits all of them, a lot of them. And in that process, a lot of companies, a lot of people are left behind. It will catch up. It will take time, but it will take a lot of time. Meanwhile, with the incentives the government is giving towards EVs, is rapidly catching up, and there is so much more demand than potential supply, and that is where we want to play. And I'll give you an example that as of January 1st, 2024, California requires that 10% of all the delivery vehicles should be electric vehicles. Now imagine if that kind of regulation is there, that was passed, all the companies, delivery companies, they were scrambling to find how to charge the vehicles. Now, all these companies had their businesses set up that, hey, I want to have, this is my route, point A to point B, and route going back and forth and coming back, and I'll be fueling at home, or I will be fueling on these stations which are at the route. All of a sudden, there are two variables now that have been added. One, you may not have, with the electric vehicle, any charging station close by. So you have to go out of route miles to charge your vehicle. Second, a diesel pump puts in within 15 minutes, can pump in the diesel into the tank. Now it takes an hour and a half to charge those electric vehicles. Now, when you are paying $100,000 to $170,000 to a driver, somewhere $70,000 to $170,000 to a driver, hour and a half of wait time to charge the vehicles, and then having that extra idle time is just not cost efficient. And that is the dilemma. That is what is happening with the infrastructure that is there today.
So now, how do your bots work? Is it basically like a warehouse or a trucking station, or someone could just get your bots and then set them up to kind of roll out and charge the vehicles as they come?
Dave, what happens is, in our case, our target market, our customers are fleet owners. We are a B2B company. We target fleet owners. We expect at least 10 to 15 vehicles on a customer site. Like those are the vehicles that may go and come back in the night or operate within a particular area and keep on moving in that area. And what we do is that whenever those vehicles, we go to a customer, a fleet, they have a fleet of 10 vehicles. So we have charging as a service business model. And what we do is we say, hey, we will set up a robot and give us a corner for the robot and charging a battery. And we will take care of all your 10, 15 vehicles that are parked in your facility wherever you want. And with that, what happens is we charge them, first of all, per vehicle basis, a monthly subscription fee. That way we have all those vehicles in our system, in our database, with all the kind of things and peculiarities that they have, what kind of charging port, what kind of vehicle, everything is there in our system. And then second is, we ask them that, hey, whenever there is a charge, any number of charges that that vehicle gets, we will charge you $1 per charge. So that is our model. And in that, so what happens is, having known all the elements, so the driver can come, and bring the vehicle and parks the vehicle. And now there are two ways our robot can get the communication: through the app. The driver says, hey, this vehicle needs a charging, or through the dispatch system itself. We can integrate into dispatch system of the company, saying that, hey, do you need the dispatch system can say directly to a robot, charge this vehicle. And they can put the constraints, like charging during this time, only this much, or those kind of conditions, because a lot of times companies only want 80% of the vehicle to be charged because of the battery life and other things that are needed. So all those constraints are communicated to us via an app or a dispatch system that, hey, charge the vehicle. And when the robot gets that indication, the trucks are already lined or that vehicle is lined, the robot will pick up the battery and take it to the vehicle and connect. It has a robotic arm. It will connect the battery with the robotic arm into the charging port and then drop that battery, because it takes time. So the robot can go and pick up other items and take it. And here I'm going to tell you a little bit. I have some fun facts about it, the other things that we want to do with our robot, but I'll leave it at a later time.
Okay. Okay. So it sounds like you have it set up too, where as these updates and these enhancements to the batteries and the different things come up, that the robots can adjust and still you can program in whatever needs to be done.
So that's a very good point. What we would like to do, what we have done is we have kept the battery modules separate, battery platform separate from the robot purposely, because we know that the battery technology will keep on improving and the cost will keep on going down. So we didn't want to have that one type of battery in a robot. First of all, it would have been a huge robot if the battery would have been there, because the trucks need a little bit of more charge and battery time. So the batteries are bigger, larger, huge today. But in due course of time, those batteries' size, cost, efficiency will all improve. So we kept the battery modules separate, and that is one reason that we can create value in future also for our customers. But also, secondly, with one robot, now that one battery is charging one vehicle, the robot can pick up other battery. If there are multiple batteries, we can install multiple batteries and then charge other vehicles also. So that way, we can scale it very easily. For example, the customer goes from 10 set of fleets to 20. Now we think that one battery may not be sufficient. We may add two batteries. And then the robot can charge two simultaneously. And mind you, all these charging are typically in the downtime, in the night, when the vehicles are not being used, and there is enough 8-hour, 4-hour gap for them to be charged. So the prioritize there we will have the optimization schedule lined up in such a way that these batteries can be charged for different vehicles, and based on when the vehicle is going out or how much battery it has, we can take care of that aspect of it. So we have a plan that how the batteries can be used effectively, not only today, but in future.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense too, because that was the one thing too that a lot of people told me is everything's changing constantly. They're updating the technology, the charging or the infrastructure has to, it's like you said, you don't know what's going to come next. You mentioned the tax incentives. How is because I've talked to some other people with other charging, like stationary charging centers, and some of these bigger companies have whole teams that, analyze the tax incentives wherever you are, whether it's state, local, national. I mean, is that a part of your marketing strategy as well, as getting people to use the incentives that are available to them?
Absolutely. I do not myself get involved in what the incentive should be in determining that. But I have partnered with, for example, in Pennsylvania, there is EP Act. That means this is kind of a organization, coalition of cities. That is what it was. I'm active part of that organization that helps uh, all the it's not just for electric vehicles. If the customers want hydrogen or any other renewable um, equipment or product they want, what are the incentives available? So there are these kind of organizations I can direct our customers or partners to, where they can get the information and take that information. And definitely I can make the introductions, not only in Pennsylvania, all around the United States.
Excellent. Yeah, because sometimes too, there's so many and you don't even know what they are, and you almost need someone to guide you through exactly what you could qualify for.
Absolutely. And, the sooner people have that strategy, the sooner they can put something together, the sooner they get into the line, because as everything else, things start drying up pretty quickly. So whoever wants to take the benefit of it should jump in pretty quickly. There's no harm. Of course, time and paperwork is involved, but people can help who get started.
Okay. And you mentioned, obviously for the fleets and whatnot, just doing this the whole last year and seeing what you've seen in the logistics industry, how do you see the adoption coming along with electric compared to, being fuel for so long?
The adoption, first of all, the adoption will be is the fastest, because if there are government regulations or incentives or combination thereof. And the regulations have started coming in California first. So of course the adoption has been enormous there. But we deal with corporations that are that operate nationwide. So what happens is when they take California as a test bed, then whatever that they're doing in California can be replicated all over the country. I'm not saying that's the only place. Texas is also doing it. There are other areas. But when it comes to EV, California has taken the lead, and corporations are learning and taking it everywhere. So regulations in California, and then the incentives that are coming up from governments, all these corporations want to catch that up. So they are now slowly from California, they are taking that learnings and trying to implement in other states, because other states who are offering the incentives, they are also informally pushing them to move towards electrification. And these corporations and these companies, they do understand that they have a social responsibility. And today's day and age, with the sense of social responsibility is a lot from multiple angles. So adoption outside California, where it is more of a voluntary, is slower, but it is coming one way or the other. But if it is slower, it is not because of the lack of interest in doing it. It is because the lack of the infrastructure that is not there. And, if you are in Iowa and you don't have electricity, I have a very good example that I was one of the fleet owners. They wanted to electrify in some remote area their fleet, and they went to their electric grid company and said, "Hi, we want to have this much of power to charge our vehicles." They said, "The amount of power that you are talking about, that is more than what the city that they provide that they live in." So you can understand, they said, "Sorry, we cannot do it. Our equipment is not there to handle it. It will require a lot of investment." So even though there is a desire to move, the infrastructure and all takes time. But good thing is that everybody is coming together towards this. The electric companies are seeing that, hey, we will get all the business that was going to the oil companies can come to us. So they are also interested in it, except that they have to put their dollars wherever they have the maximum returns.
Yeah, and problems are the lifeblood of entrepreneurs, right? So that's
Absolutely, absolutely, and and that's it. It's not about. I think this is solving problems is in the DNA of Americans. Okay, we solve maybe daily problems at home or problems at workplace, and that's all we do, and we do it enthusiastically, and we do find problems, and because that's how we grow every year. So I'm excited. I'm excited about these challenges, and I know that together, as a country, as a society, we will solve those problems.
well said. All right, so clearly you're doing some exciting things in this upcoming year. If people want to learn more about your company, your solution, and find out what they could potentially type of business they could do with you, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
I will provide my contact information, Virind at ebots.tech, or my number is 610-613-1614. Welcome to talk to me. I would be happy to chat, discuss, and just if you're thinking you need some guidance, I'd be happy to have a quick chat. And please, if I do not respond immediately, it's not that I am not interested in talking to you. It's just that I may be flying somewhere, driving somewhere, but I do respond to my calls.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. Well, Virind, thank you so much for being here and sharing the info about your company. That's all the time we have this week. We will see you next time. Thank you.